officially, I think we can say we are back for season 3, I think. Wait. And we go off to the great start, like always. John's mic's off. There you go, buddy.
You ass.
Hey, think something's just...
Is this a shtick now? You just do it on purpose.
I think it might be. I don't know. Boy. I think it adds to the dynamic.
No, it doesn't.
I think it does because I know you right off the bat.
You're unprofessional. That's what it is.
How you doing, buddy?
About to hit a major milestone.
What's your milestone? By the way, is that fan on that camera on?
How would I know?
Can you feel it? Like, can you see it spinning? Or look at the little controller on the bottom on the cord.
I feel it.
You feel it? Okay, cool. Just to make sure.
No, I'm professional.
I'm sorry. It's been a while. We haven't been here for what? Since, I don't know, May? Right?
Something
we had a
like
table here before.
Yeah.
Did we get repoed or some shit?
I missed that table.
Already? It's in your garage.
Oh, yeah. I still miss it.
Why? I like this better. You don't like this better?
Nah. Gotta lose weight.
You gotta suck it in a little bit more. How you been, bro?
Good. Like I said, major milestone.
What's your milestone?
Guess.
You benched 400.
No.
No? All right. Hey. What'd you get? What? Oh, wait. I know what his milestone is.
What?
John will be the big 4-0 next week on the 5th.
Oh, I was going to say my herpes is in remission, but yeah, let's go with that one. 40 years old.
See, people are happy for you.
Is that middle-aged? Or is that like
you're past middle age.
I'm way past?
You're 10 years over.
What are you giving me, like 60?
Well, if the average, we were talking about this earlier because my grandfather's not doing too well, but he's also 94.
I don't know any 94-year-old that's doing well at all.
The average human age, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere in the 70s, right? Like 74 or whatever. And I would say 74 is pushing, like you're in the upper part of it. So I would say 60 and over is kind of where you're kind of,
yeah,
you're reaching the end of the line, as they say.
Right.
So you're past middle age because half of 60 would be 30. So 10 years over.
You're giving me up to 60. Damn.
But anyways, we have a guest, friend of ours, very talented individual, very talented. Gonna have his own podcast coming up pretty soon. Great musician, and we're gonna talk a lot about sports and stuff like that. I'll let him introduce himself.
And thank you, appreciate you guys. I'll pay you later for the compliments. Thank
you. What's your name? You want to say your name to everybody?
My name is Alvin Martinez.
There we go. Officially introduced on IMO. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Enjoying the day, enjoying this right here.
A little close to the mic, a little closer. Bring it to you.
I'm a fan of you guys, so
we appreciate it. We don't have many of them.
I think you do.
A dozen. He's one of a dozen.
One of a dozen. So you want to start your own podcast, right?
Yeah,
let's dive into that real quick.
Yeah, it's something I've been working on for the last year. Just getting different ideas together, watching different podcasts that I like to see the direction I want to go in, right? The type of setup, the topics. I don't want to sound like every other podcast, right? But I also want to be relatable and interesting. The podcast is going to call it Collective.
Okay.
And it's just, the idea of that is getting a group of guys that I know together, something like what you guys do here, and just talking sports, different topics. I love basketball. I love wrestling. Talk about that, life experiences, success stories, people coming from nothing and just making something of themselves. I think that's important, especially Chicago guys, and just different controversial topics too.
Right on.
So,
right on.
Word of advice, get one of those guys because it becomes turnkey. I just come down and sit.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So get you one of those.
That's great. Actually, he is a very hands-on individual.
I thought you were going to say handsome. I was going to say that's kind of weird.
That too. Why not?
I'll take it.
It's okay.
He's giving me the Lost Boy vibes. He's got the fucking...
I got the earring.
Yeah. You look like a young Keith or Sutherland.
Bro, you gotta fucking... So what do you expect, like, work-wise from this thing? I'm gonna tell you from like obviously I'm the only person on this podcast that can tell you how much work it takes to put one of these things together.
I can tell you too, just by watching him, it's a lot of work.
It looks like a lot.
Decent amount of work.
But man, whatever. Because it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like it takes time, it takes commitment, and I think we talked about it a little bit before. I think one of the reasons why a lot of podcasts fail, right? Because I think there's a stat, right? The stat says like if you can survive like 5 episodes, you're in the upper already, in the upper category of the people that are like survive doing this stuff. And I think the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons, or I got 2, so I would say 2. One would be people over expect how successful they think they're going to be, and 2, they don't realize how much work and time it consumes. Right, because you have to be committed to this shit.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna go on YouTube and be an overnight and get your play placard the next week. It's not gonna happen. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen unless you already got a fan base, which most of us don't.
Right.
And then the time and commitment. You know, like you got to find yourself one of them, one of him.
I like one of them,
because he's the one that lives here, so he has no choice. He fucking got to he has to come downstairs.
Yeah.
You know, but it is a lot of work after, obviously. You know, so what's your game plan? What are you trying to accomplish? You can do video, audio, or just audio?
Video and audio. This is why I've been taking so long to put it together, because I want to make sure I deliver it right. You know, I've been picking your brain and other people that I know picking their brain. I hit up our good friend Diego a lot too whenever I come across equipment. Like, hey, you think this is a good camera or a good microphone? I've hit you up a few times too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I don't have a launch date yet, just because I'm putting all the pieces together, and I want it to be impactful, entertaining, right, and have a good time. Like, it's gonna be guys that I know and maybe people that I don't know, but you know, a lot of big thing that we're gonna talk about is mental health too, and I want to have men that are vulnerable enough and transparent enough to talk about them dealing with mental health, right?
So not Jonathan.
I'm not there yet.
Jonathan is not open like that.
Well,
Jonathan is not open like that.
He said yet.
Oh man. So let's dive into mental health. What do you think is one of the struggles that men have with mental health?
The fact that they're men. I think the stigma in society deems men weak if they deal with, if they even think about having mental health, if they make it verbal. You know, they make us, you know, we get the stigma of being weak, soft, not strong enough, man up, stuff like that. And I feel like good men, a lot of men carry a lot. They carry a lot of weight, and it's harder for men to express themselves because of the backlash that we get because of it. So we hold it.
I mean, that's something. Here's the funny part. I think overall, I think men, like you said, have this overhanging like shadow that we're supposed to be a certain type of thing, right? And I think I don't want to say it's amplified in the Hispanic community, but to an extent, I mean, if you think about it, when I was 16 years old, right? You go to high school. Or not, maybe a little younger. You're in high school, 16 years old. You graduate like at 17, 18 years old, right? John, did your dad or your mom push you into college?
No.
You? No. Mine either.
They pushed me out the house.
Right. Or they pushed you to get a job.
Work.
Right. I remember it was work. You know, like, I mean, not saying that they said go work, but I remember the comments of like, tú no pagas la luz aquí. So no me estés dejando la televisión prendida or whatever hasta que tú pagues el bill. Okay, well, if you want to keep the TV on, you got to pay the bill. So what does that mean in hidden terms? What does that mean? Go get a fucking job. Right. So we got into the workforce.
His fucking Chinese is perfect.
So we get into the workforce very young, right? Because from the get-go, and as men, right, we are taught we need to hold our weight in relationships, so on and so forth, right? Like if you look at it, your parents are a prime example, right? Because your mom did side things like she babysat and all that stuff, but she never worked. From what I mean, when I would go there a lot, she would babysit kids for a little bit of money, but she never had a regular job. She took care of you guys. She was there with you guys in high school.
I think very young she had a job, and then it was mostly babysitting.
And your dad was bringing in the bread Monday through what, Saturday? And I mean, this man, Fernando, was every day, because I would stay over his house a lot. He worked overnight, or he would leave really late.
Double shift sometimes,
dude. He
overtime.
was in and out, same routine every day. My father the same way, right? My father still worked. My father worked 2 jobs for a lot of years. He just retired from one. He still works at the other, and it was routine. Like, you know, we see that, and that's kind of, you know, put onto us, you know. But how do we get away from that?
Right.
You know, but I agree in the sense of like we should be able to show our emotions. You know, I think that's something that I think it's John's face. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I just realized something. You know how many Hispanic parents call their sons macho? Like,
that's true.
So from the very beginning, you're like fucking tough guy.
But
right?
you're John. I would say you're probably the least emotional person. You're really like your father, I would say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can count on my hands how many times I've seen this man tear up.
Yeah.
Never.
What? Okay. You sure you want me to relive that moment for you, bro?
Look, the show's about Alvin and his
so
things he goes.
And now I think it also has to do with women though, because when we're taught like, okay, we got to be men,
right,
to the women, right? Like we don't show emotion, but I think that's kind of stupid.
Yeah. But
it also depends on the woman. What say you?
I agree. I think it's different for a lot of men. I think what you said is true. The way you're brought up. Like me personally, my upbringing was different. My dad wasn't around, right? So I didn't have that male figure. I didn't have any male figures around. And then my mom was just my mom. Like I love my mom, but you know, she wasn't as nurturing or empowering or teaching, right? Like I, you know, at a late age, I could admit I had mommy issues. When I cracked the joke that they push you out, like I legit got put out the house when I was 15. I was a little knucklehead, but you know, my mom
weren't we all?
My mom wasn't that that protector, right? That unconditional love, showing you, teaching you, raising you, protecting you type mom. And when I was young, and when I tell people this has effects on people, what you say to your kids or how you deal with them. I remember I was crying once because I got a bad grade and I was scared that she was gonna whoop me, and she stopped crying like a little bitch. And I don't know if we could curse on here.
Absolutely,
I'm not
absolutely.
I'm not a cursor, but
you can let rip when you want.
But that's what she told me, and to this day, that affected me for the rest of my life. I'm at a point now where I'm in a season right now for the last few years where I'm trying to be more open with my feelings and, you know, just open to that. Just because for a lot of years I allowed certain things to dictate my reaction, and as men, again, we can't show that soft side. We can't show that emotional side because it's weak. Like even after this podcast, in my mind, like, oh man, some of my good tough friends are gonna
say something about that.
Yeah. I can name a few of them right now, but it is what it is.
Just don't cry, you'll be all right.
No, right. I mean, bro, that's the problem though. See, like it shouldn't matter.
Right.
Exactly. And in my opinion, me, obviously, I'm my own person. I don't think it shows signs of weakness. Right. I think being able to release your emotions, you know, you have to do that because it's not healthy. First of all, it's not healthy to hold on to hold on to shit. You know, I don't care who it is.
Right.
You know, now I'm not a huge fan of like you know, I watch these people because it's fucking amusing, right? So sometimes I watch like Fresh and Fed or Andrew Tate or whatever, because it's amusing. It's amusing, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Tate's an interesting character, and I'm gonna tell you why he's an interesting character. I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. Some things I do to an extent. Yeah. But a lot of things I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree. But I understand what he means, right? And I think a lot of times it's one of those things where like people just don't really understand what he's trying to say. You may not agree with it, but he can say it and I understand it, right?
Right.
One of the things he says, which I kind of agree and disagree, is like, okay, you shouldn't show your emotions in front of your woman. Mm-hmm. You should do that with your boys. Right. And I'm like, okay, yes and no. But then again, if you're married, kids, the whole 9 yards, or someone like me who's been in a relationship for like 20 years with someone, who would understand you best, right? Wouldn't it be the person you spend your life with?
Significant other.
I would say it would be your woman, your wife, your girl you've been with for a long time. I know on my side in the past, I've made the mistake of wanting my girl to fix my problem of not being able to open up, right? To understand that and help me in that area, which that's not her thing, right? That's not her responsibility. It's up to us to really like get the proper counseling, get the proper help. But I think it's their job to help you along the way, be there for you, reassurance, build you up, not tear you down in those low moments. So I think that adds on to it too with a lot of men. And I look up the stat. I can't remember what the exact number was, but the suicide rate is men over women.
Yeah, men over women. I've heard that too.
Yeah.
But men have their problems. See, here again, these are things that I hear on these shows. I don't agree with the way they use these stats.
Right.
And
Well,
whatever.
they exacerbate it just to get
Keep going
views.
for a second. I'm gonna check something. Keep going.
And so yeah, like whatever he says, you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna say it, but to the opposite extent, so you can get views and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
But you for the most part, the message is there. Now, as far as crying in front of your woman or something like that, I'd say keep it to a minimum.
Yeah.
Dude, if you come once a week crying, oh, my boss is
that's
she's gonna be like, oh,
relax,
no,
plus.
hell no.
Yeah.
I mean, I forgot what did you say last? You said something. I was trying to get a point, but I had to go check that.
I said that the rate for suicide is
Yes.
over women.
So I hear that statistic a lot when it comes in like Fresh and Fit, Tate, all those people. A lot of it has to do with the fact that the differences between men and women. God, I sound like fucking them. But I get it because it makes sense, right? There is big differences between men and women, right? And I was talking like about this with one of my coworkers, where we were talking about getting guys and how we get girls or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want to say it's easy for you, but it's easier than being a guy. Okay, because with girls, and it sucks because we don't have. Again, this is going to be another podcast. Us as guys, as men, we don't really have standards when it comes to women. I don't mean us. I'm just saying in general, right? We kind of go. Who said it? I think like Chris Rock said it. Like, women can pick and choose who they want,
right?
For the most part, men, we take what we can get, right? For the most part. I mean, let's be real. Let's be realistic.
Their checklist is longer than our checklist.
Like, they can go into a club and come out with 10 guys if they want to. If they want to. You could be, if we're ranking from a 1 to a 10, you could be a 2 and come out with 5 guys if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you can. Men, on the other hand, we can't do that. We can't go into a club. Now, I don't care how good looking you are or whatever. I don't think you can go in there unless you're an elite person, right? If you're LeBron James, Steph Curry, whatever, then you could pull that off. But they're outliers, right?
Not if
the average
Savannah's
guy
watching.
Sure. Or whatever Curry's wife's name, I forget her name. The average guy can't do that.
Yeah.
So we're under more pressure. Like, we have to. Plus, on top of that, we have the quiet pressures of we need to be providers, we need to be protectors, we need to do this, we need to do that. Now, I'm not saying women have it easy per se, but in some aspects of relationships, they have it easier than we do.
It's more pressure on the men.
I don't know. Do you agree, John?
I mean, for a woman to get a guy, what do you need? Pretty face, maybe nice body.
I don't even think you need that.
Really?
I don't even think, bro.
Well, you do need standards.
No, I'm saying in general. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
In general. Again, excuse me. Most girls can get any guy they want. But remember, guys, and it sucks to say it, but I'm going to be real. Guys will do anything for the most part. A generality. Again, not talking about us, just in general. Guys will go with anyone. I mean, let's be real. In our lives, maybe not John's life, but in our lives, right? We all have those, and we talked about this with Ralphie.
Yeah.
We all have those girls in our lives, in our past, right? We're all in our 30s. John's almost 40.
I'm about to be 41.
All right, cool. We're all in our upper. We've been on this planet. We've been on this planet for a while. Okay. In our years, right? Early years, whatever, we've all talked to, messed with whatever girls that we're not proud of, right? And we don't, that even till this day, we're glad we don't remember their names, whatever, blah, 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 right? That girl who we've looked at in the past and said, damn, I can't believe I did that, right? That girl got us. You get what I'm saying?
She probably got a lot more too.
Sure, I'm just saying.
People keep quiet about that.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, if I was to rank myself, I would say I'm a 1 out of 10. I'm a 5. I'm an average guy. She got an average dude when she's well under average.
Ooh.
Okay? I don't remember her name.
Oh.
I mean, but that's my point. It's easier for them to get someone than it is for us because there's more things that girls need. Their checklist, like you said, is longer than ours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I seen the same guy, Tate. I seen a little clip of him the other day, or maybe it was somebody else. I think Sam sent it to me. It's easier. So in order for a guy to get into a good relationship, he needs to have his stuff together, right?
Correct.
Opposed to a woman doesn't really need to. And he used the example of if you're on a boat cruise, a party boat cruise, any girl can get on there as long as she looks
pretty,
good, right?
Yeah.
But in order to get a guy on there, like he has to have it together. He needs to be the guy hosting the party or
Correct.
have his career set or his money on point or whatever the case is. And again, it's not with every situation because we see women out there that taking dudes, they ain't got nothing going for themselves. They have potential.
Right. But they're outliers. That's different. Again, it's different. Like we don't care per se, not necessarily every single guy. I care to an extent because everyone has their preferences, right?
Yeah.
But like a guy doesn't like a girl's gonna care if you work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
At 30 at 35. At 35, right?
Yeah.
If you live at home, whatever, blah blah blah. If you have a car, da 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 da. Now, do we as men do the same to women? Do we care if they have a job?
No.
Do we care that they make good money? No. Not just a job. Do we care that they make good money? Do we care if they have a car?
No.
Do we care if they have education? No. That's my point. So this is when, again, this is going to be a great conversation for when we have that other guest who loves to talk about women's standards. So men, we need to have these standards too in a way, right? But it's just, what would be a standard? Like, what's a standard? You're married, so that's a different story.
But there is nothing. Like, fuck, like I said, to me, it wouldn't matter if I was on a date and a girl told me she was a executive at a bank or if she worked at McDonald's part-time. It'd make no difference to me. So,
okay, that's fair. Would you have a standard?
Being honest.
If you were to go into the dating pool right now, this is all hypothetical, obviously. I don't know. You're married? Basically? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So hypothetically speaking, if you were to go back into the dating field, what's a standard today? Now that you're your age, your knowledge, if you had a standard, what would that be?
I have kids, right? So my biggest thing is the kind of example you're gonna be around my kids, especially if we're gonna be serious. What your values are. If you have kids, how you're raising your kids, I think is important to me. So the parenting aspect and just the type of person you are around my kids is what I look at. Anything else, the job, the car, that's not a heavy focus for me.
Or you're talking about like if you want to get into a relationship.
Yeah.
Like a long term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you? Nothing?
Yeah, no,
she's pretty.
No, like you said, if she has kids and she lets them run wild, I don't want to be a part of that.
So that's one of the things I disagree with the Tates and those kind of guys, because they claim that all they care about is, youth, fertility, and whatever that they care.
Right.
I disagree. Because they say a boss babe is not attractive, and I'm like, I can agree to an extent, right? To an extent. But me, personally, like, my girl is more successful than I am, right? She has her degree. She works at a university, whatever. She makes her money, blah, blah, blah. Do I find that attractive, or is that a turnoff for me? No, right? It's definitely not a turnoff for me.
Do you find that attractive? Or does it?
Yes. yes.
So it adds something.
It adds some, but it's to an extent. But that's minimal. But that's minimal. But I love the fact that she's driven, like she achieves something, right? Now, mind you, I'm different because my field, right? So let's say this, and to let's say acting to a smaller degree, right? I know what it's like to work at something and achieve it. So when I see someone do that, it's almost like, okay, shit, you did something, you know? But then there's those guys that are like, well, I need to be the leader of the household, this and this and this. I need to make more money than you, blah, 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 blah. And then they get intimidated by the money. Right. But the fact that she makes more money.
Right.
But that's where me and Fresh and Fed and those guys, like this is where we kind of, we're at opposite ends. Because that's not a turn away from me. To me, it could be an add-on.
I agree.
You know, I can see where it can become a problem. Mm-hmm. Right? Because if she starts telling you, well, you need to be home at this time, or why are you using up all the gas when I'm putting the most money in, then I can see where it can become a problem, but then that depends on who you're with.
When it gets thrown in your face, and I think there's an attitude behind it. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's an add-on. I think it's a bonus. And when I say that I don't care much about what they do for a living, it's situational too. Like if they're a single mother and they can't work because they don't have the help, then okay, that's something separate, different. But if you're just being lazy and don't want to work, and you want to purposely live off a man, that's not somebody I want to do.
Yeah, like I think most of us, and I think we can agree, right? The ideal situation, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. The ideal situation is that the man provides and the woman can stay home and take care of the kids. That's the ideal, right? I don't think that's for every woman. I don't think it's for every woman.
Yeah.
Right? Or every situation, but the ideal, like. Again, we grew up Hispanics, so like you saw your dad work and your mom stay home. Mm-hmm. My mom worked all the time. My dad worked all the time. I don't think it's for everyone. Yeah. But in my case, if I could make enough money,
that shit's not for anyone. Things are so expensive. Everybody has to work.
That's true. But I mean, if I could, that would be ideal, right? Because one, how much money would you save? Right? If you have kids, little kids, daycare is expensive, right? If she stays home, she can take her kids. You save money there. That's a job in itself.
I mean, you pretty much break even.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you get what I'm saying. But mind you, now she's raising the kids instead of the babysitter raising the kid. You get what I'm saying, or whatever. There's situations now. Certain women, I don't know if they can deal with that, and I don't blame them if they can't. Like if they want to say, "Well, I still want to work." Cool, right on, more money, whatever. You know, we make it work. But I think I would love for it to be that way. But I know my girl, and then, you know, I think she clowns around and says, "Well, I would love to just be a stay-at-home mom." Yeah, you say that now, but like everything else, it's like hot water. You get used to it, and you start putting more hot water on.
There's a lot of women out there like that too. Like so, and to shed light on my situation, I'm married, but we're separated right now, so we live separately. I took the summer off. Because
from marriage?
I'm kidding. I got a summer pass. I took the summer off work because she took on a new career job, which you know, great opportunity for her, and I'm proud of her, and I'm happy for her. But like you said, the daycare situation, the babysitting is tough because we have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. You know, we don't trust so many people with.
And you shouldn't.
Our kids that age.
You shouldn't. Have you seen how like what situations are going on in this world right now? Like what they're trying to teach kids.
Exactly.
Again, I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just saying.
I agree.
In general,
100%. I agree.
I think we'll get into that topic. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, it's a good topic. I agree.
We'll get there.
But yeah, so you know, it was easier for me to take the summer off just because I had lost my job in February, so I was collecting a little bit of unemployment. Plus, I do my church stuff on Sundays that they take care of me pretty good. So I made enough to cover my bills and take care of the babies and make her situation a little easier. But even when we were living together, she's strong-willed, hardworking. Like she loves to work. She wants to be home with the babies, but she also very independent, very strong, and wants to work. So I agree with you. A lot of women these days just, you know,
they need it. I mean, it's like anything else.
It's healthy for them.
I joke around with Mina, and I'm sometimes because she makes pretty good money, and I joke around, you know, and be like, you know, I kept you around because you got great credit and this and this and blah, blah, blah. Like I would love to be a stay-at-home dad. I play around with shit like that, but I don't know if would I love to be a stay-at-home daddy?
No,
it's tough.
Hold on, I would say Sure,
It's tough.
but that's saying it. But that's saying it from look outside looking in.
Yeah.
When you're in it, it's different because I'm a very active dude. I don't know. I get bored on vacation.
Oh damn.
You know what I'm saying? Because you go on vacation for a week or 2 weeks, whatever. Job by the second week, halfway through, I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like, I might as well go back to work. I'm bored. There ain't shit to do here. I could only fix the car so many times.
Kids that age, they'll keep you busy.
But mind you, yes, my situation's different. My situation's different. I don't have kids of my own. Different situation.
You know what it is too? I think women are naturally built to be are wired to be nurturers and
Agreed.
because they have a different
100%.
bond. But like I think I do a great job of my kids, but I still get like this is hard work. Like man, I'd rather go work a 14-hour shift because being with my kids, I applaud women. I applaud my wife that when she was working from home for a few years, so raising kids because she also has 3 other kids, so she's raising 5-6 kids while working from home while I'm working. So I applaud her.
But I'm gonna say this like Chris Rock, because I think I saw it in one of his comedy shows. Mama's got the hardest job.
Yeah,
that's the truth. But nobody ever gives a fuck about dad.
Yes. Is there a button for that? What you just
can I
said?
get an applause for that?
Yeah, press that button.
Where is it at? There we go. Wait, that's microphone. Sorry. That one right there. I gotta figure out a better situation for this. Is like way out
Damn,
of
the
my
Kobe fist.
Shut the fuck.
It just keeps on going, doesn't it?
So the reason, and it's true because it's like, moms always get
Sound
the
like that guy
compliments.
from Queen. Mama.
They always get the compliment, right?
Yeah.
You know, go tell your mom how good the food was, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? What do we get? The big piece of chicken? Maybe that, right? And how he says it, he says it as a joke. He's like, and then sometimes the mom doesn't even want to even give up the big piece of chicken. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up. Like Father's Day goes under the radar.
Watered down. You know what?
Compared to Mother's Day.
I seen this. I don't know if it's still legit. I think this is a few years ago that they ranked the yearly holidays and Father's Day falls like 15 or something, 14 or 15.
I can see that.
I'm like, Memorial Day gets a bigger celebration.
I mean, that is, but I mean,
Labor Day.
Memorial Day's kind of Labor Day. I don't know about
Labor
that.
Day.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, like you said, mothers are more nurturers and they're there to, guide children more than we are, right?
Yeah.
But we do a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, not we. I don't have kids, but when I get there, if I ever cross that bridge, we need to be part. We're a big part of all of that, especially now more than ever. Because I think the big thing that we need to do, and again, you guys have kids already. You guys are probably doing it. One thing I need to do when I have kids is not be so much. And I'm not complaining about my father, right? I'm not saying that. But the ways I was brought up, my father was in my life, my whole life, still is. But it was from almost like that old school thing, 9 to 5. He's sleeping, don't bother him.
Right.
Whatever, he gets up, eats, shower, shave, sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
On occasion, we go play a softball game, whatever, go to the park, whatever, wash the car. 'Cause my dad loved the car more than I did, but it's okay. We'll talk about that. I'm just kidding.
Love this cars more than you.
I mean, I love my car too, but I'm just saying. I'm just kidding.
You just like them.
I'm kidding. I think that's something that needs to change. I mean, again, you guys are fathers. You guys educate me. But like one thing that I want to do going forward is being different with my kid.
Yeah.
Not so much mano dura. Like we grew up getting hit a lot. I mean, I don't know if you guys hit your kids. That's all. You don't have to disclose that. Probably go to jail nowadays for it. But I want to get away from that, even though I'm not opposed to it, because I think sometimes that's necessary.
Yeah.
But I think as a father, as my father, to me, my father missed a lot of things. Like they didn't go to a lot of my basketball games, baseball games, stuff in high school.
Well, if you were a little bit better, maybe he would have.
Shut the hell up. But I mean, they weren't. I understood. Yeah. Right. But that's something that when I have kids, I kind of want to change. So let's say you guys have kids. You have kids that are of those ages already where they're playing sports and stuff like that. Actually, one of your girls plays softball, right? Because you're always putting stuff.
So I agree with you 100%. I find myself in that area where I'm a yeller, right? I'm really strict on my kids, and I'm trying to get to the point. I'm doing a way better job at it now, but I try to talk to them first. I try to like, hey, Papa, hey, Mama, like, let's talk about this. But then after the fourth or fifth time, then I catch it. I'm yelling instantly. So I'm trying to change a few things from when I grew up. Because again, I love my mom and she tried her best, but she left me scarred. And I think Jonathan knows a little bit about my mom back then.
Yeah, little bits and pieces.
Yeah, but and again, my dad wasn't around, so I didn't have that figure. So honestly, I'm winging it. I made a lot of mistakes with my older daughters. Again, I'm in a season where I'm living in transparency. And so again, back to the mental health part.
Sorry for my stomach. Sorry.
Is that what that was?
Fucking grumbling in there. Sorry. Excuse me.
Eat something before you come on. Fuck.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that plays a role into just mental health in general. Mental health is not the most recent thing that happened. It's a lifetime of stuff that you don't deal with the right way, and that's one of the things that I made mistakes with my daughters in that area too. And another thing that plays a role in my mental health is financially I wasn't there for my older daughters. Right, I was physically around, but I was living in other people's couches. I didn't have my stuff together. I didn't have the logic, the common sense to just figure stuff out. I blamed my upbringing on it a lot. Dude, I was sleeping in parks, sleeping in trains, like roaming the streets, and making excuses for it. All I wanted to do was party and kick it, hang out with my friends, play ball, and hang out with my kids. But I was missing out on financially take care of your kids. And to this day, that affects me, right? And this is for my older kids. Now I try to do my very best for my babies. I financially take care of them. I do everything I can for my babies, but yeah, I try to be a different parent from what I was growing up. And you're heading in the right direction when you have kids. Just keep that in mind. Like, not saying that your dad was back then, I don't know nothing about your dad, but if you feel you want to be a different parent, to do that. Cause I try to go to all of Ebony's games. I try my very best. If I'm not working, I want to be there. My 4-year-old, she did T-ball, and I was trying to be there. Well, I was there.
Do you think it helps that we were into sports? Because like my father wasn't into sports. Like he didn't play sports. Like he watched like baseball and basketball, stuff like that. But like he didn't play sports.
I think not for me. I mean, I love sports, so I'd rather than play basketball. Because when Ebony played basketball and Sophie, I was there. I loved it. Ebony played softball. I was never a softball player. Not really too good at it, but I think it's more so the fact that my parents were there for any of my accomplishments, any of my big moments. So I make sure I'm there for my daughter's big moments.
But in a way, think of it like this. Would you think that way if you didn't go through the experiences earlier? Man, so in a way, tough. Remember, did we mention, like, I got into a debate over is life linear, right? I believe everything that happens in life has to happen in order for you to be where you are today, right? So your upbringing, the way you are with your kids, has to do directly or maybe not directly or non-directly with your upbringing, right? Again, if I end up being very different from my father to my kids, it is related 100% with the fact that he was the way he was with me.
Right.
But I think what's cool about you is your mentality is you took ownership of the mistakes you made. Yeah. Which is something that is lacking in today's day. Not to point fingers at certain people. But I'm just saying,
that's true.
We don't take responsibility for our mistakes in today's day. And I think that's something that our era, our generation, right? What are we? We're what? Millennials? Yeah. Like we're still kind of, other Gen Zs and whatever the newer ones are, they make fun of us and, oh, you guys are blah, blah, blah. No. Listen, we are a breed of people that, for the most part, take responsibility for the shit that we do wrong. And we still work hard. Yeah. And we don't take the easy road out.
Yeah.
you know? But that has to do a lot with, society today is fucking crazy, man.
You're right. And
I mean, look at the fucking mayor. Fucking Brandon Johnson. Can I say something about Brandon Johnson real quick?
You voted for him.
I did not vote for him at all. I did not vote for him. I would have rather Paul Vallis, even though I don't like him either. But,
because he's bald.
He's my guy. Yeah. He's my guy.
Got a brotherhood.
Hold on, listen. So you know how there's this like big stretch of like cars that were being stolen, right? They were all Kias and Hyundais, right? So Brandon Johnson, who is the mayor of Chicago, he put out a lawsuit against those companies, claiming that the manufacturers are not, that the manufacturers are not up to the standard of security of anti-theft, right? In other words, basically saying that it's the manufacturer's fault that these kids are stealing cars. I think that's absurd. And a stupid waste of my tax dollar to try to sue these freaking companies.
I think they call that a frivolous lawsuit.
Yes, it's fucking stupid. How do you blame someone for someone else doing something? You know what I'm saying? It's like someone breaking into your house, but you sue the company who made the lock.
Well, you didn't have your door locked so that anybody could walk right in, so it's your fault.
I mean, what say you?
I know, I agree. I think I'm not into politics like that, but I think it's dumb. Like, I don't have much to say on it. It's stupid.
Do you think we give kids too much of an excuse right now?
100%. I think they're coddled a lot.
I think this whole generation, these last two generations, so Gen Z and whatever the newest one is called, I don't know. I think they're called like Alpha or something.
Yeah.
They grew up in an era where everything was given to them. Okay, because information is power, like they said, right? The more information you have, the more powerful you technically can be.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up in an era of everything on demand, right? Everything you wanted is there. You can learn, every book, everything, solutions for everything. You don't even have to do, math anymore. You just put it in a fucking calculator with you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't act like we didn't have calculators.
Yeah, but we weren't allowed to use them.
Well, that is true.
You get what I'm saying? In school, like when we grew up, cell phones were coming out. Remember when we had to turn them in at the door at Kelvin Park? You went to Kelvin, right?
Yeah, for a little
bit.
Like
we had to turn them in and then pick them up at the end of the day.
I didn't even have a cell phone until I was 17.
You loser.
Yeah. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 17.
Like, I mean, these kids have everything. Like, remember the days of going to the library?
Yeah.
To go pull out an Encyclopedia Britannica to research some shit?
Yes.
Right?
It's a different time.
Agreed. But is it a better time or is it a worse time?
I think
morally, no.
Yeah. I think it's tougher for them now in that sense. I think they have a lot of resources now. I think everybody in general, like if you're unemployed and can't get a job, that's your fault. Because
Agreed.
There is so many ways.
You just don't want to have a job.
Exactly. There's so many. You could apply to 50 jobs from home on your cell phone.
A couple hours.
Yeah.
You're done. Yeah, you got a bunch.
Like when I was looking at jobs when I was younger, we had to walk, take the bus, drive
or sit
to
at
different
the
locations,
kiosks at the stores,
fill out the applications. Like now, everything's you don't even have to fill out applications. Put your resume,
copy paste
on an app, and like Indeed will send it to different
wherever.
jobs.
Yeah,
so,
it's insane. Everything is literally like handed to them.
Right.
I think they have harder senses. I think I agree. I think with them, I think it's a little more difficult to kind of, I would say the hardest thing for them is making up your mind because now you have so many options.
Yeah.
There's so much more information. Like, we talked about if you wanted to talk about religion or whatever. Religion to me, when I left religion was when technology started advancing and I started doing more research.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't square up with it, but that's because I learned more over time. Right.
Yeah.
Back then there wasn't that. So that's all I knew was religion.
Right.
As I got older, I think they suffer from the same thing because there's so much information now. You don't know who to believe. You don't know which way to go. You're kind of in this middle and then you just go with whoever the more popular thing is.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the wrong mentality.
They're exposed to a lot.
Agreed.
they're exposed to a lot at an early age.
Can you imagine being like a 14, 15-year-old with the phone?
Oh,
unlimited access to porn.
I'd be a genius.
Everything. Yeah.
That's
I would have been a
fucking
genius, bro.
crazy.
I would have been a fucking genius.
I said to porn.
Oh, to porn. Oh, my bad. My bad. What? What? Why?
No,
porn
that's
of
what
all
I'm
things?
saying. The moral compass is kind of fucked up for these kids.
it is.
Like, imagine that.
And the parents, a lot of parents are acting, they want to be their kid's friend opposed to being the parent.
Oh, they're encouraging that shit.
I made that mistake in a way.
Huh?
I made that mistake in a way.
What do you mean?
I think one of the bigger regrets of my life, like Delilah used to be on the pod a lot, and she's my cousin's daughter. I love them, right? But I haven't talked to them in a long time.
Yeah.
And the problem we had, I saw them growing up when they were little, and now they're in their 20s. You get to a point where we're gonna bash heads, right? Because obviously we grew up in different eras. We look at things differently. I wanted to be their friend, right? Mm-hmm. And in a way, that backfired on me because then it becomes a lack of respect. Yeah. Not that I was demanding respect, right? Because I never wanted I didn't demand it from them, right? But I am the adult, right? And like, I always wanted to have a different relationship than I had with like my cousins, my older cousins. Like my older cousins, they were older than me, and if I said something stupid, my mom real quick,
yeah,
the fuck you saying, right? I didn't want that. I wanted them to be able to come up to me and say what they wanted, which worked in the beginning until we get to a point where we disagree, right? And when we disagree, the problem with, I think, the younger generation is it becomes emotional instead of it just being a debate, or an argument, right? We talked about, and I'm pretty sure we could talk about this. We play sports, and sometimes we get into altercations with friends, right? Obviously, we know one that we all got into it with. And it sucks because, with the kids, with the younger ones, they take it so personally, and then they're gone. Right? Yeah. They disappeared. Like, we had a big fallout. I haven't talked to them really since. Mm-hmm. And me being a hard ass too, I'm not gonna reach out. They know where to find me if they need me. Right. I love them. I wish them the best. If they need anything from me, I'll be there for them. But I'm not gonna hand out my hand when I felt like I did nothing wrong. Right. But at the same time, I agree with you. It's wrong to necessarily be friends with them. Yeah. Because then it becomes hard when you have to be the adult, it becomes harder.
You need a balance. That's what Agreed. It is. Again, I'm learning how to do that at a late age because I got the second chance to do different with my babies than what I did with my older two. And for the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I've been taking every opportunity to apologize to my older daughters too. Just create that, hey, I'm sorry. I know I failed in this, that, and the third. I made mistakes here, but I'm trying, right? And I call them every day, and I try to be that parent. They're older now, so it's easier for me to be more of a friend than that hardcore, strict parent. And again, they don't live with me. They have a great mom and a stepdad, and Diego's a great guy. They did an awesome job raising them. But it's just, you need a balance of both. Especially in this generation, we didn't go up against all the stuff that they go up against now. The peer pressures, the social medias, the bullying, everything. Like, we dealt with bullying and stuff like that, but it was in our face. It was local. Like, now you get bashed everywhere, and it's just different. Like, the moral compass is tough now. Like you said, it's all over the place.
Yeah, and as far as like the respect, like, growing up, you had like older people tell you what to do, and you were like, you don't know nothing, but you kept that to yourself. Right. And you still respected them because they're older than you. That's the way you were taught. Kids nowadays, they don't give a fuck. They'll just tell you to your face. It doesn't matter.
But is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I think in certain situations, I think it could be a great thing, right? Because obviously you're not gonna, because you won't let yourself be talked down to in situations where you shouldn't be. I get it,
but when your cousins, like your younger cousins, did it to you, you didn't kind of like appreciate that.
But that's
right?
different because I think they don't know when and where is an appropriate time to do that.
That makes sense.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if your boss is treating you bad, that would be a good time to stand up for yourself, right? But if you're in a disagreement with me with me, again, I'm not saying that we cannot come to a mutual agreement and say, okay, cool, we're done with this conversation.
Right.
But that seems to not be part of the situation ever. And there's where the problem lies.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I know we're Hispanics and we're hotheads and blah, blah, blah.
Prideful.
You know, because, that's how we are, but I've learned over time, I get emotional with conversations, but I can have a discussion with someone, a debate, and walk away from it, and we're still boys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it's so difficult for certain people. And if you're not capable of doing that, then you shouldn't be in a debate. Because if you're just going to get emotional about it and not be able to agree to disagree and realize, yes, we're still family. We can still love each other and still be cool. We just disagree on this thing. And that's okay to disagree. Me and you disagree on religion all the time.
Yeah.
No big deal. Whatever. I have my opinions. You have yours. No big deal. We're still boys, right?
You're going to hell. We're still boys.
That's fine. Yeah, it's cool. I got it. Yeah, you'll be right there with me. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Well, you know what? You know what helps in that too? Like we'll use you guys as an example. You don't force your opinions or your beliefs on each other. Like there's so many people out there that want to force their beliefs or their views on people. And if that person doesn't agree with them, it's a problem.
They're automatically the bad guy.
Right, exactly.
You know, and I think one of the big ones that me and Delilah, we all kind of disagreed on was obviously like BLM and what's going on with all of that.
Yeah.
And this is when, everyone has their opinion on things, right? I mean, do I think, in all honesty, I guess I'll say it in Spanish just to be, I guess, because whatever. Well, I'm Hispanic. I can say what I want, right? I'm free, right? So Morenos, do they have it harder than some people? I could say yes in certain extents, right? But every race has their problem per se. John, turn on that light on top of your camera. I forgot to. My bad. It's a little switch on the top.
You didn't turn on your mic,
My
and
bad.
you know what? I told him in the beginning.
The other
turn
way.
on his
Slide
mic.
it the other way.
Unprofessional.
Oh my God! Do you need me to do this for you, bro?
I will do it.
Oh God!
I'll figure it out.
So I think every race has their issues. Do I think Morenos have it worse than said white people or Hispanics to an extent? Do I think white people have certain things that they struggle with? Sure. Do I think Puerto Ricans have their problems? Whatever. I don't think anyone has like the concept of slavery. Right? To me, you can disagree. It's up to you. Slavery for me was a horrible thing. I think slavery in any incarnation is terrible.
Right.
But slavery didn't start in America, right? Slavery's been way before America was discovered. There were slaves, la-da-da-da-da-da. Now, I feel, slavery, we are so separated away from what slavery was at the time.
Right.
What it was, right? I'm not saying your feelings of slavery. I'm talking about what it actually was. Okay, we're talking about like you can't drink in the same water fountain as somebody else.
Right.
Right. We're so far from that that in a way for me, there's no connection between the two. I think there's certain things like politically, I think there's certain things, but what slavery was in the early days of America to what people are claiming slavery is today, that is night and day.
I agree with that.
You're saying it's like a crutch, right? They're using it as a crutch.
No, it kind of this much, but it's different.
Yeah.
Like when was the last time you saw you get in a bus and since we're Hispanic, we got to go sit in the back?
Yeah.
When was the last time you had that happen to you?
All the popular kids sat in the back.
I'm sure. And
the ones that smoke weed in the back. Go ahead.
It's a controversial topic.
But we need to have these conversations.
I agree 100%. I have a lot of close friends that are black. One of my best friends, P, is black. Go back years. And I have a lot of cop friends that are, Billy, childhood friend. So
that was one thing me and Delilah argued a lot about, but continue.
Yeah, it's a tough topic because, one or two bad cops don't make up all the good cops, right? And everything's situational. All the stuff that's happening, all the videos you see, it's tough. I think black people do get it worse than they get less leeway than everybody else. I was watching a video the other day of this white dude try to run over an off-duty cop, and the cop pulled out his gun and didn't shoot him ever. Like, he was in his face, and the guy was reversing and trying to hit him again, and the cop never pulled the trigger. But if it's a different situation, if it was somebody black, they're getting shot. You know what I mean?
But there's always counter arguments.
Case by case with that. Like, maybe he's just a good cop. Maybe he's just like super.
That's what I'm saying. I think it should be case by case. That's why I don't bash the police. I do believe that this is not just the black culture, the Hispanic culture too. How we react to cops helps the situation. How we talk to them, how we react to them makes it better or worse. You know what I mean?
Here's funny. I watch a lot of like Code Blue Cam, or I like this. It's called The Audit, and they do a lot of. Even though I think he's a little biased, but no, that's just my opinion. He kind of grades on situations on what happened, how they handled it, blah blah blah, how the person acted, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think in today's day, what's happening, and this is all obviously after the George Floyd stuff, it became a automatic response to law enforcement, right? Mm-hmm. Like I've heard so much the I can't breathe thing, since George Floyd that I've ever heard it in my life. Yeah, and it could be for whatever reason. It could be a white person, black person, whatever, Hispanic person. You hear it, and it's become trendy. I hate to use that word, but it's almost become like a trend. Like
the cop out.
Here's the thing. And I grew up and my father told me, look, you get in trouble, just do what they fucking say and fight in court. You're 100%. Not going to win with them on the street, even if you're right. Right? Prove it in court. That's it.
It's true.
That's the only way you're going to win against them. Right? Now, mind you, I will say, I have seen situations where I'm like, okay, yeah, the fucking cop was wrong. Yeah. Right? George Floyd, I think the cop was wrong in the sense of kneeling on him and holding him down there when he's already in handcuffs. Like, they should have helped him. They should have rendered aid. I agree 100% there.
Who's that guy, Vandersloot?
No.
He emptied the clip on that kid with the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was that one? The one in Wisconsin?
No, that was here.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Wasn't there one where the guy, like the kid goes into the car and they're telling him to stop and then they unload a couple in his back or whatever? I'm like, look, I agree that there are cops that are bad, right? But like you said, Billy's a kid. Since we were kids, we were all friends. I know him. Yeah. I know him personally, right? He is not a bad cop. I also have other friends that are cops.
Yeah.
What? Did I say that wrong? Sounded bad?
No. I just remember something he did to me in church.
Oh. He's a bad guy. We
were up in church
directing. He's a jerk.
I'm sorry.
He's a jerk in real life.
We were directing in church, directing, singing. Yeah,
3 songs in the beginning of church.
Me and Billy, right?
God, that must have been terrible.
It was En el Arca de Noé, right? That song.
We were kids, sure.
So in every in every gap, he would push his microphone aside and go in my ear and say, "Chorizo, chorizo."
You guys are
and
bad.
I was I could not stop laughing for the life of me. He doesn't even remember this story, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
He'll deny it.
Bro,
he'll deny it.
The lady came and screamed at us in front of the whole congregation. She was like, "This is not a joke. This is church. Act right." And then we got sat down, and I probably got my ass beat when I got home. Oh, that was
I don't know.
funny.
I mean, it's crazy, bro, because I think I'm not trying to bash Morenos, right? But Morenos, to me, Hispanics, we're minorities, right? Mexicans, Puerto Ricans are the majority here. Mexicans come in here either legally or the hard way to make a living. What? Cutting grass, making tacos, blah blah blah. Working, right?
Damn.
To do this shit. That's racist, but sure.
Stereotype.
Again, I'm not trying to put them in. I'm not trying to rank them, but think about it. If you're a Moreno, an African American, right? You have more rights in America than a Puerto Rican does in Puerto Rico. You can vote. In Puerto Rico, you cannot. Puerto Rico is a territory that's owned by the United States, and they use that idea, right? They said, we're going to make you guys citizens so that they can get soldiers. So we were used to sacrifice bodies. And yet we still don't have a voice in Congress. We don't have a voice anywhere in the United States. We're basically just
the ones on the island,
not the ones here. The ones on the island. The only thing we got when we became a what's the word? A territory was citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of entre comillas, right? In quotations, where we'll let you be citizens, but you guys are not eligible for the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not saying they're worse than them. I'm just saying understand that you're not the only ones that have issues per se. Now, when was the last time you saw a bunch of Mexicans going crazy like that? Right? And they got it bad because, I mean, they're not even, a lot of them are not supposed to be here. They're here illegally, whatever, trying to make a living for their family, blah, blah, blah. They don't even whine. No, see, that's bad. Not whine. Complain about situations like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why can't we just be here? This is I would say I don't want to say the greatest country in the world, but one of the greatest countries in the world where you can actually say what you want, do what you want, whenever you want, to an extent, obviously, within the law.
Yeah.
Go try to do that anywhere else.
It's tough. I get it. I don't think it's a race thing per se. I think it's I want to say culture, the type of person you are. I think so I've been on both sides, right? So I like to speak from personal experiences. Like I've been a knucklehead on the other side where I get pulled over by a cop or I have a situation with a cop and I'm mouthing off and I'm acting tough or whatever the case is, right? That goes the wrong way all the time. But I also been on the opposite side where, I'm compliant, I talk to the police, I'm respectful, and they're cool, right? Whatever the case is, they see that and like, okay, they work with you. But I've also been on the side where I'm being compliant and the cop is being a douchebag regardless,
sure.
Right? So I don't think to a certain extent it's a race thing. I think the African Americans, the black culture has it worse because of that stigma, that stereotype. But it's these I don't want to call them little thugs, but these little, and it could be little black thugs, little Hispanic thugs, little Mexican thugs. They all have this mentality of F the police, we're gonna do what we want, and those are the ones that we see on TV that
they influence other people.
Exactly. But if you talk about the older Mexicans, like you were talking about, even older black people, older Hispanics, they're making it work. They're, they might have it a little bit harder than the white people, which I don't even like using that term, but it's still doable. Like we live in a society and a time now that you could reach your goals. You could create your own businesses.
Agreed.
Like there's no excuse to be in a situation you're in. Oh, I robbed this liquor store because I'm broke and we live in a poor neighborhood. Like, to a certain extent, I get it. And that's not a black thing. I think that's just a minority thing, just in general. It's a mentality thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I always hear again, I'm gonna use Delilah as an example because we argue a lot about this. And I have a younger kid at work, and sometimes we talk about this, and it's like, they don't have the opportunities that white people have. I mean, I don't necessarily know what that means, because I'm Hispanic. I didn't have money, right? We all grew up regular, right? Or below the freaking medium.
I think we all grew up like
borderline
lower middle class.
Sure, yeah.
That?
None of us we shop Aldi for the rest of our entire lives. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Stores,
thrift stores. Yeah, the whole thing. Why are they or Morenos held differently than anyone else? Because I mean, I'm not amazingly successful. I'm not, right? I work a 9 to 5 and then I do what I want after that, and I make this shit work because this is what I do. My sister, who grew up the same way, right? She grew up in the same household.
Yeah.
Master's degree. She has a career. She's a teacher. She made that shit work, right? How come she's successful? but we're gonna say, okay, but they don't have the same opportunities were held.
Yeah.
The only difference was my sister stayed in school, and she wanted to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with society is when you don't hold accountability for your choices.
Yeah.
Life is choices.
Yeah.
Yes, your surroundings can influence your choices, but if you allow them to.
Yeah.
Right? Again, a gun can only kill someone if you pull a trigger. That's a choice. Right? So what choices are you making to get yourself out? Right. There's always an out, man. I hate the idea of like, oh, some people don't have any other option. There's always an option. Yeah. How about don't rob that store?
Yeah. Especially now. Like, I get it, back then it was a little different, but now there's options everywhere.
Shit got deep real quick.
And but it's a real topic.
John's like, can we change the topic here?
I can't say anything because I look white. That's a problem.
No, but I agree with you. a lot of.
Do you need more water?
No, I got some here. A lot of Hispanics and blacks, just in general, have that minority mentality, and it becomes a crutch. It becomes an excuse. Like, yes,
agreed.
It's gonna be harder for the black community and the Hispanic community to make certain moves, but it's not impossible. Because if it was impossible, we wouldn't have any Hispanics. We wouldn't have a former black president. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have like the Jay-Z's of the world. You wouldn't have the Mathises, like Judge Mathis of the world. Those like the. Yeah. I mean, obviously, those are unique characters. Obviously, I'm just using them as examples. But you can't tell me there aren't successful Hispanics, blacks, whatever, not just whites. Yes, do whites hold the majority of certain types of jobs? Yes. But here's the thing. They started this. Of course they're going to have a head. They started this country. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if the business was banking from day one, it was probably owned by a white person, right? So they've been owning it since then.
Rothschilds.
What? You get what I'm saying? Like they just have a head start. Yeah. And we can't say that's necessarily racist. They were there first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then again, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Like, what did they take away recently? They abolished the thing about the schools. Like they had to do acceptance, not by race anymore. They abolished something, and they were saying that was a bad thing.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action. So they abolished affirmative action, which when it comes to schools, it meant that they had to select a certain amount of minorities or blacks. I think it was blacks in particular. Instead, without qualifications.
Yeah.
And allow them into these Ivy League schools. So they got rid of that, right? Here's my 2 cents on that. I think that's fair, right? In today's day, when it was put into practice, when was that? When certain people couldn't drink from certain water fountains.
Right.
Different story there.
Yeah.
It was a necessity at the time.
Yeah.
It is not necessarily a necessity now. You should make a school or anything by merit. What you earned. If you qualify to do something, you should go. If you do not, you shouldn't go. If that's the case in the NBA, let's do that in the NBA then. We need to have at least 25% non-blacks. And I don't care how bad they are. They need to play. That sounds stupid, right?
Yeah.
Because that's dominated by African Americans who are the best basketball players on the planet. But since, let's diversity, right? Yeah. We need at least 25% to be white.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad I don't care if LeBron is better than him. No. We need, what's his name? The new kid from the Lakers, the white kid that's really good.
Reeves.
Austin Reeves.
We need him. We need more of him.
Yeah.
Even if they play like Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Or Fred Hoiberg.
I think jobs, any career, any position, schools, education shouldn't be based off your race. It should be based off
your merit, what you've done, if you're qualified to do this job.
Outside of, obviously, what you do for a living, acting and stuff like that, because sometimes, Hispanic play a role, you get a Hispanic. See, unless you're Scarface and you get Al Pacino to play.
This is my thing. I understand what you mean. I'm gonna push back a little on that. Only because I still think that the best so there was a big deal over James Franco playing, I don't even know if this is ever gonna happen, but James Franco was gonna play Fidel Castro. And there was a big thing about it. Now, I'm sorry, but he looks like Fidel Castro when he was young. I'm like, he can pull it off. And he's a good actor. If he can do it justice, I have no problem with it. I don't think there needs to be a Hispanic particularly per se. As long as it's portrayed well and it's respectful to the material. You get what I'm saying? Like, again, like you said, nobody mad because Al Pacino played a Puerto Rican and he played a Cuban.
Yep.
We all love those movies, Carlito's Way and Scarface.
Yeah.
Terrible accent.
It's a little rough. It's a little rough.
It's a different time.
Yeah, you know.
Expectation wasn't there.
Like John Leguizamo's exaggerating.
Yeah.
John Leguizamo's over here like, no, this needs to be this. No, bro. Listen. You're upset because Super Mario. He's mad because he didn't get hired as Super Mario. I'm like, bro, come on,
He was Luigi,
man.
wasn't he?
Luigi. Like, come on, bro. And I mean, I understand he's Puerto Rican or he's half Puerto Rican, whatever he is. Dude, first of all, your career, I'm not going to criticize him too much because obviously he does what I wish I could do. What he could do. I wish I could do what he does. But he's not that good. Right? If we're mad at anybody in acting, we should be mad at the British. Because the British actors are the best actors out there. And they play American better than
like
we
you said,
play American.
They got the head start with Shakespeare and all that stuff.
Do you watch All American?
No.
The show?
He doesn't watch TV.
I don't watch TV,
He doesn't
bro.
fucking
Well,
watch
you're an
He's
actor.
an actor. He doesn't watch TV.
I'm going to explain this one more time.
Do you watch movies? Are you a movie
I
guy?
do watch movies, but I have a hard time
Only
watching
if they're
movies.
Marvel characters.
No, bullshit. Because
Yeah,
I went to go
that's
watch.
true.
I
Look at
watched
his tattoos.
Oppenheimer. I went to go
Look at
watch
his
Oppenheimer
tattoos.
recently.
Was it good?
It's very long. It's a very long movie.
I don't mind.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I would say, were you planning on watching that with like your kids? Don't.
No,
Okay,
I
don't.
watch movies by myself.
There's some
Yeah.
there is some
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
there is some very strong sexual content in that film.
Really?
Yes, very strong sexual content. But it's a good movie overall.
Where in that movie is there sexual content?
So there's a scene where so Oppenheimer cheats on his wife. Right? So they're in like a courtroom and the wife is there and she finds out that he cheated.
Yeah.
Right. So he's sitting in front of the board or whatever, and then she's sitting kind of behind him. And the idea is when she hears that, all she can see is her fucking him. So they actually show that. But that's because they're trying to show that that's what she sees at this moment because she's going through it. You know what I'm saying? So you can see that. They also show them nude pretty well a couple times. Anyways, it's a good movie. Here's my problem. I've said this before. You as the average consumer, you know that movies are fake. Right? I'm not the average consumer. Right? I know the ins and outs of it. Right? So if you know that it's fake, I really, really, really know that it's fake.
Right.
So like I tell people like my sister's a big Chicago PD, Chicago Fire fan.
Love
right?
it. PD,
and I'm
that
like,
show.
she gets emotional about it. And I'm like, it's fake, right? Like I've talked to these people before. Like I literally have talked to I've worked with these people. This shit's fake. This emotional part that you're seeing, somebody 2 seconds later said, cut, we're going to do it again. And it's like, how do I enjoy a movie now when I really, really know that it's not real?
That's
like,
tough.
that's why I
don't
think,
know.
how when you go to the theater now, you see freaking Nicole Kidman in the beginning, and she's like, we suspend. You're full of shit, Nicole Kidman. You don't suspend shit. You really know that shit's fake.
I know what you're talking about.
Do you?
Yeah.
The beginning of the AMC thing? Yeah, like she says, like,
I listened to her.
We suspend.
It's true.
No, it's not true. It's
Most
true for
people
you.
do.
It's true for you. Google it. Google if actors enjoy movies. Watch what the Google search comes up with.
I'm gonna Google that.
It's gonna tell you.
That's
It's gonna tell you
interesting.
most actors don't really enjoy movies like that because they know it's fake.
They don't even watch them, I don't think.
But-
They're busy.
Yeah, but you knew they were fake beforehand. As a movie,
But now even more. Like I always knew
Man.
Freddy Krueger was fake, but imagine it's like, okay, if you're in a Freddy Krueger movie as a teenager, why would you be afraid of Freddy Krueger? Let's say you're not in the sequel. Why would you be scared of the sequel? You know it's Robert Englund. I mean, you know it's Robert Englund from the outside, but you physically know it's Robert Englund.
I see where you're trying to go with.
You know what I'm saying? It's different when
can
you're
still
actually
lose myself in
there.
it.
I get it.
I enjoy more behind the scenes stuff in DVD extras than you know what I send Diego all the time? Whenever I see a clip on like a short and it's like a behind the scenes of someone running a gimbal and spinning it around, I send that shit to Dia. I'm like, bro, you see this shit? This shit cool as fuck. Fuck the movie. This shit cool as shit.
Dork.
I'm dead ass, bro. Dead ass. Anyways, we rambled, bro. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. That shit went crazy, right?
God
She went by fast.
That went quick.
Let's talk basketball for 2 minutes. Since we all like talking about basketball. I don't know who's even a good player. You know what's crazy? To think that LeBron, Steph, James Harden,
they're almost done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I felt like they just came into the league. So you were talking about that they said that Steph Curry said he was the greatest point guard. Him and Magic.
Him and Magic.
Do we agree or disagree?
Oh, man.
Are you taking it as in it's the actual parameters of a point guard where you dribble down the court and pass?
Well, let's establish that then. What do we consider? What is a point guard? Period. Like all time. What would you say is a point guard?
Positionless basketball. But back in the day, it was a guy who facilitated.
It's a floor general, pass first, point guard, get everybody involved.
It was John Stockton.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. That's a good example. So then, in reality, the point guard doesn't exist.
But then the games evolve too. The positions involve. So it's a guards game now, and that started with who? The Derrick Roses, the Westbrooks.
Derrick Rose, what?
Oh, I'm not a Derrick Rose fan. He was only relevant for like a handful of years. Yeah. Chicago fans love him, but
I don't know why. I mean, I know why. I just don't understand why they still do, or why they hold them so high.
Because they only watch Bulls game, they don't watch no other games in their life.
People get mad at me because I say, excuse me, I say that I feel Derrick Rose is a bust. It's not his fault, but he is a bust. By definition, he is a bust.
There's a bunch of people that are
agreed.
And I wouldn't even
Greg
say
Oden
he's
is a bust
like that. He's a bust.
Super bust.
He's a bust.
But he had no control over that.
Right. I'm not saying he's a bust because he couldn't perform. Right. He's a bust because he got hurt. But he is still a bust because what was expected of Derrick Rose did not come to fruition.
A little bit did.
It doesn't matter. He didn't. His overall, what we expected from him did not come to fruition. Again, not his fault. He busted up his knees. Not his fault. But he is a bust.
But even when he came back healthy.
Did he ever really come back healthy?
I think physically he's healthy.
But here's another thing. Derrick Rose is a prime example of why your game should not be solely based on your athleticism.
Agree.
Westbrook is a prime example of why.
What do you mean? He got away with it.
He's terrible.
But he got away with it.
He's not going to get away with it anymore.
You said Westbrook's
horrible. I think Westbrook's a horrible player.
I think he's
horrible. Yes.
No, I don't think he's in the NBA.
I'll take that new kid from the Lakers over him.
No,
Austin Reeves. I'll take Austin Reeves over him in a heartbeat. A heartbeat.
Westbrook is a dummy. He's a basketball dummy. He makes a lot of dumb decisions on the court, but it's also based off the position he's in or the type of program he's in. Because he's had
every type of program though. That's the bad part.
He was great in OKC. He actually played well in Washington. Like he put up numbers. They made it to the playoffs. It's just the dynamic with Harden, the dynamic with James and Davis just didn't work for him.
So he's never going to be able to win a championship because he can't play with big players.
He's Westbrook because he's athletic.
Agreed. Yeah. But that's why Derrick Rose is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is only Derrick Rose because he dunked on everybody.
Yeah. Once Westbrook loses his athleticism,
he's irrelevant.
He's done.
The reason why
he doesn't develop a jump shot. Ja Morant's the same way.
Ja Morant's another one.
He needs to develop a jump shot.
Blake Griffin was another one. The Moreno from the Clippers, the big one that used to dunk too. Where the fuck is he?
He's
super athletic.
Who?
He's with the Nuggets. He's with Denver.
Is he still playing? Whatever. Irrelevant, right? Nobody really knows who he is anymore. Blake Griffin's a shell of himself. DeAndre Jordan. Why is Blake Griffin even playing anymore? Why is he with the Celtics?
Because he signed a contract.
Is he a bust?
Yep.
He's bust.
Yep.
Why though? Why was he so good at one point? Athleticism.
What you got to understand is not everybody can shoot. It's just the way it is.
Right, but that's a major part of the game.
But not everybody can do it.
You have to be able to shoot.
Well, there's people that do different things.
And those are the ones that are busts.
I think if you gotta work on it, like what? So Rondo could never really shoot, but he
could do other things.
Exactly.
He could do other things.
Okay, but
Westbrook can't do other things. He's not a great passer.
Like you think Dwight Howard didn't try to shoot?
He's a
Dwight
bust.
Howard is not a bust.
No.
Dwight Howard's a bust.
Dwight Howard deserves to be in the top 75 over Anthony Davis.
Ew.
Look at the numbers.
I don't know about that one.
Outside of Anthony Davis championship in with LA, if you look up the career stats, Dwight Howard has better.
But
numbers.
I would still argue Anthony Davis is a better piece for any team than Dwight Howard is.
A healthy Anthony Davis, 100%.
Now, mind you, healthy.
Yeah.
What you got to understand is not every basketball player is as great as Chris Webber.
Oh my God! Holy
Chris
crap!
Webber.
Man, I forgot. I was gonna wear a Chris Webber jersey.
Yeah, you should. I still got
I will grant you. Chris Webber is a hell of a better basketball player than most of the people we just named. I think Chris Webber is worth more than Westbrook, Howard, the guy from the Clippers, Griffin, all these boys. He's a better player.
Yeah. Westbrook made an impact on the Clippers in the playoffs when both stars got hurt. So he's not a bust. He's not trash. He's not a bust. He just
a bust would not still be in the league.
He's
at like
Hall of Fame
30
easy.
something.
Right. Like he holds the triple-double record, whether it's intentional or not. If they he padded his stats.
Sure. He's got accolades.
Yeah.
He's got a few accolades. I'll give him that.
He's in a category by himself with that accolade.
I don't think
First of all, Westbrook wasn't drafted so high that you can say like he was a bust, right?
I agree.
Was he like mid lottery?
He's like Clay? Like Clay?
Well, what
Clay
would
Thompson?
you say Clay
Thompson
is?
was a late first round pick.
So how could you say he's a bust?
Well, Clay's not a bust.
Only the top 5 can be bust, I think, because that's all you're really expecting.
Okay, so
anything from.
who's better, Westbrook or Clay Thompson?
It's different positions. It's tough.
Overall,
they got different
overall,
roles.
Who's worth more?
Overall, it's gonna be Westbrook because he has more numbers.
Ooh.
Oh, you talking about
it is.
If you need a piece on your team, you pick Clay. He's a shooter.
What do you mean numbers? Clay has the most important number. He's got championships. That's the most important number.
Yeah, it's Steph Curry. Though.
But they also have so the pressure. So Westbrook's had to lead a team. Clay doesn't have that pressure. Clay, it's easy. It's easier for Clay because
I can grant that. I can grant that.
It's different.
That's true.
It's different. But Clay's the better piece for a team because you always want a shooter on your team.
Okay, so back to the point guard thing. We totally deviated from that.
I'll give it to him. He has 4 championships. Like he earned my respect the last few years.
To me, a point guard today, unfortunately, is just a name, right? So
yeah,
Magic and Curry is that they're so opposites each other. Like to me, LeBron is closer to Magic than Curry is in play style. You know what I'm saying? But Curry's undeniable in what he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like they both have led teams. Yeah, I guess we can argue that Durant was part of 2 of those championships. I guess we can argue that. But Curry has literally changed the game. Yeah. Right? People imitate Curry.
Yeah.
Did anybody imitate Magic?
I don't know. I wasn't alive.
Yeah, you were.
You
were alive. You were in Pampers, though.
83.
You don't think Magic's passing influence like the Jason Kidds and the Jay Williams?
It's Showtime.
I'm not saying
the original fancy passer, I guess.
No, I agree. I'm not saying he's not significant. I'm just saying, if we think of people that have, and I guess this is similar to what Stephen A. would say or said, like, who are the players that changed the game? Right? Like how we look, like when the next generation of kids come in, who are they imitating? Let's go back. Was anybody really imitating Bird? Was anybody imitating Magic? Maybe Dr. J, I would argue. Maybe, because he was a high flyer.
I mean, if you can dunk like him.
Right. Michael Jordan?
Once again.
Everybody wanted, even if you couldn't dunk like him, you were still imitating that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the post up fadeaway.
You can't say Kobe because Kobe played like Jordan.
Right.
Who's the next one? Curry.
Chris Webber.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You're right. Curry did change the game.
Because LeBron's earlier than Curry.
Yeah.
But no one imitates LeBron. And I guess the argument is no one can, sure. but no one can shoot like Curry either, but they imitate Curry. Curry literally has changed the game. Him and Harden, I would say, with Harden with that zero-step bullshit, they've changed the way we play the game of basketball today.
Them two, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie,
It's a footwork.
I think Kyrie is he's such an amazing player. Like, he's fucking so elite, bro. I think his biggest downfall, bro, is
himself.
Yeah. Because imagine if he was a little taller too. Can you imagine? Because he's kind of small. Yeah. He's like Curry height. Curry's kind of small. Imagine if he was like.
But I love those guys.
Yeah, doesn't it? I feel if you add more height, it changes their game too.
He's a bad boy, man.
So I got a question for you. Do you think at this point now, because I see all the memes, all of the dumb statuses on social media, do you think Steph Curry is better than LeBron James? I think they're both the face of the NBA right now.
I think it depends on what we mean. Okay, we have to clarify what we mean.
Or do you have Steph Curry on your top 5 best players of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah. Because you got Mike.
How many do I have on the top? How many can I have? 5? Like how many are?
You said top 5.
I'm sorry, my bad. Shut up.
5.
I was thinking Mount Rushmore. There's 5 faces on Mount Rushmore.
Is it 5 or 4?
What 10 people do you have on your top 5? Mount Rushmore is 4.
Mount Rushmore is 4. So let's go with 5. Let's go with 5.
5. Okay, no, I don't put Curry there. I don't put Curry top 5.
Who's your top 5?
Jordan, and I'm a little biased. Kobe Bryant. If you say Chris Webber, I will punch you in the face. I'm gonna mute his microphone. We will not.
He's above the Mount Rushmore. He's like,
he has his own mountain.
He's Mount Olympus.
Jordan, Kobe, because I'm biased. LeBron, Shaq.
Yeah, 100%.
And jeez. See, I grew up in the 90s, so like the older guys are kind of hard for me. Like I have a few I could say Tim Duncan, I could say fucking Karl Malone.
Malone, no,
dude, what? He literally was the leading scorer, the second leading scorer for the longest time.
I think that 4th and 5th spot is interchangeable. Anybody, as long as you have the Mike, Kobe, and James on your first 3, I think anything after that is interchangeable.
I think Curry's 6th. I hold him 6. He's like right there. But the thing is, he doesn't dominate. He dominates the game. Don't get me wrong. But he doesn't dominate like the other guys do. And they dominated with force. Curry kind of dominates with finesse. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. Like, the dynamic of how they played is different. I know he doesn't have to do it, right? But I don't know if he's capable of doing it.
He hasn't had to carry a team like the other 3 did, too, at one point in their career. And make it far in the final, in the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. Kind of. Because they were all rookies, though. At one point, you got to remember, that team started, they were all together starting from when they were rookies, right?
Right.
All 3 of them. I think they came in at the same time. To become champions basically with that trio is tough.
Well, you got to remember that finals against Toronto when KD went down, Clay went down.
So honestly, he should have 5 championships.
But sure, he also had the opportunity to step up and carry his team. Like, Toronto wasn't. They're not that much better without KD.
But they all have failed. Let's be real. Every player that we have in our top 3 has failed.
Oh yeah, Jordan
just hasn't failed in the finals.
Well, yeah, because
Jordan has failed to win a championship.
How many seasons did Jordan play? 15?
15, 16.
And the first 6 years don't matter, and then the next 6 years only 6 years that people talk about, and everything after that nobody cares.
I do think that those matter. I think they matter.
They matter to me.
That's where he was a scoring champion and
I agree. I understand.
But not making it to the playoffs, getting swept, all that,
or not,
doesn't get talked about.
Not winning a championship is already a detriment, right? That's a check on your negative, right? Jordan was in the league for I don't know exactly, but let's just say 14 years. Mm-hmm. He didn't win 14 titles. Okay, right. So he has 6.
He only went to the final 6 times. Out of 14 years, he only went to the final 6 times.
He went 6 times, so he failed all the other years. Okay, I know we criticized LeBron for that too.
That was the point.
Right? But
the point I was trying to make.
Here's the thing: at the end of the day, Jordan has 6, LeBron has 4, right? Curry has 5. 4. Sorry.
He has 4.
Kobe has 5.
Kobe has 5, yeah.
Okay. So that, and I know we argue back and forth over what's more significant, blah, blah, blah. Individual accolades to me are secondary to championships. Because the reason you play the sport.
So why isn't Robert Horry in your top 4?
Because he was not that good. Because it
he was a good role player. He was a
champion.
Perfect place, perfect
if
time.
If that's the case, fucking who's the one with the most championships? Bill Russell. Bill Russell's not the greatest basketball player of all time. It has to be a combination of both. It has to be a combination of individual accolades and championships. But championships have to be there.
100%.
Agreed.
Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry.
It's tough.
Because I'm.
Well, Curry doesn't have a lot of accolades
the
either.
He would have had a 5th championship.
No, but he doesn't have other accolades, is what I'm saying. He has 1 MVP. And he's the all-time 3-point.
2.
No, one. He has 2 season MVPs, 1 final MVP.
Yeah.
Oh, the 2 season MVPs are more important than the final.
Sure, but all of it comes in. That's what I'm saying. You have to have a lot of things under your belt.
He's been to the finals a lot, though, too. To only have 1 finals MVP.
Well, he got robbed of 1, though. The one that they gave to Iguodala was kind of like, come on, really?
For me, it's those 3, and then I'll give one to one of the old heads, fucking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Like Shaq, again, you have to think, what do these players have besides championships? But championships has to be in the conversation. Why is Charles Barkley not looked at? Charles Barkley was great, right? Great player. We always make fun of him. Why? Because he didn't have titles. But I think what makes Jordan interesting, the argument for Jordan, the biggest thing I say about Jordan is, think about it like this. How many, now mind you, a lot of players are going to make the, top 50, 75, 100,
right,
whatever. But let's think about this. How many Hall of Famers, how many great, emphasis, great players didn't win a championship because of Michael Jordan?
Decent amount. A lot.
And that's about great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not like the Westbrook. Like, I'm not saying Westbrook's not great, but Westbrook is in the lower tier of the great list, right? He didn't win one because of Curry, but he doesn't count because he's lower in the tier. We're talking about Barkley, David Robinson, Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing.
David Robinson won one.
Yeah, but he didn't win when Jordan was playing. They won after Jordan left.
I get the argument.
Maybe Hakeem too.
Hakeem
had
too,
he not retired.
But Hakeem won his titles back to back when Jordan retired.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. I thought you were arguing the fact that he could have won more of them. No, Jordan was there.
But I get the argument, but it's also a different time. Like, the era is different. So the league is individually, there's more talent in the league now than there was back then. There's more athletic. There's more individual talent.
I grant that, yes.
There is way more talent and competition at the guard position than there was in Jordan's time. And I'm not taking away from. I think Mike is the best player of all time. Well, I don't think anybody's the best player of all time. I think, and me being biased, I'm gonna go with Kobe because I'm a huge Kobe fan.
Me too.
Well, I pick Kobe. I pick Kobe over Mike all the time because they're the same player. I'm gonna pick one. I'm going with Kobe.
I agree with you, but I mean, I gotta say I'm biased. I like Kobe. Right? I love Kobe.
Yeah, well, I think they're the same player, but if I have to pick one, I'm going with Kobe. Like when you build your own top 5 and they say Mike or Kobe, I'm going with Kobe because I'm a Kobe fan and
well, that's what we saw.
They're the same player.
We saw Kobe Bryant more than we saw Jordan.
Well, I got to watch Jordan.
No, I did too. But
the last 4 years,
I saw the last 3 championships, right? But when I was into basketball, Kobe was the guy. Kobe was my guy. Plus, he was a Sacramento Kings fan. I was a Laker fan.
That was a tough series to watch.
Did you like that little clip I sent you?
It was kind of tough when you're playing the Lakers,
here we go,
which are a really good team, and the refs. It's hard.
You hear this guy?
It's really hard.
You hear this guy? Listen, I sent him. Listen, he bitches about calls, right?
Yeah.
So I sent him a clip. It's a clip of not Robert Horry, Rick Fox. He gets an inbound pass, right? He catches the ball. He literally turns to look the other way. He bumps into Doug Christie's chest. Doug Christie flops and is an offensive foul. I'm like, you were right. It was paid because that was not an offensive foul. You are correct.
You just said yourself when you were younger, you couldn't take a hit. And Doug Christie looks exactly like you.
No,
So,
Doug Christie was strong.
That still does not excuse the fact that he flopped.
Doug Christie was strong.
And he got a call.
Doug Christie was strong.
And he caught a... Bro, I could agree it did it in some situations, yeah, they looked a little stupid. But there was calls on both sides, bro.
No.
Again,
I watched every show after that game. Every show was
That's
calling
the first time I had to lower John's mic, bro. He getting animated, bro. He getting animated, boy.
Everybody was like, that was ridiculous.
His shirt is stretching. I'm like, oh, damn.
My eyes turning green.
The vein in his neck is swelled up, bro.
Turning a shade of green and shit.
No, but it's a different game. It's more competition. It's tougher now to win a championship. You have to build damn near super teams to even compete in this era. Like I get the argument, oh, Mike didn't have to play with Magic or Bird to win a championship, but it's different now. And he had a stacked team to begin with. I don't care what people say. Michael Jordan.
Jordan? You think he had a stacked team?
Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
Second best player in the NBA. There was nobody in the NBA better than Scottie Pippen outside of Michael Jordan.
Okay.
You had Tony Kukoc coming off your bench.
Okay.
Right? You had Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
The first three you had Horace Grant, which is they're
Horace Grant wasn't. I mean, he was okay. He wasn't great. He's not even a Hall of Famer yet.
He was the third best player on that team.
See,
he produced.
I'll grant Tony Kukoc because Tony Kukoc turned out to be something amazing. But
Ron Harper
was already on his downslope at that time. It wasn't dunk contest.
He was on his.
It wasn't dunk contest. Ron Harper.
He was on his slope when he won with the Lakers because he won with Kobe and Shaq.
I would say they're about the same. He gave him about the same effort.
Nah, he was a tall point guard that could play.
But it wasn't like he was jumping from the free throw line like he did when he was with the Cavs.
A very good defender.
Tony, I'll give Tony but Tony, the thing about Tony is that you got to understand. Tony came into the league playing from over there, and he developed with them, right? Jordan and them made Tony Kukoc who he is. They put him through. He had talent. He had a lot of talent, but he learned how to play with them.
Well, he's a killer over there.
It wasn't like he was a killer already, and then he ended up playing for the Bulls.
Well, no, he was a killer overseas,
but not here, not in the NBA. Yeah. I mean, he got killed when Turkey played against the United States
because they made it personal. Yeah.
So I mean, I get what you're saying. He's a Hall of Famer, but I would consider him a homegrown kind of player in a sense because he came to the NBA playing with the Bulls, and he has a lot of. You play with Michael Jordan, you have a lot of chances to develop.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. I agree they had a good team. I don't think they had a great team. I think they had a good team.
I don't think it was a super team.
Yeah, I think it was a super team.
No.
But he had a great team. He had great role players. Everybody played their role. He had a great coach.
I agree they had a good team. I don't think I will grant that, yeah, Scotty was great. Dennis was great. Michael Jordan's great. Tony's like second tier great.
But when they say super team, that's like assembled super teams.
Right. Brought together versus these were draft picks. They were all draft picks.
They traded for Dennis Rodman. They signed Tony Kukoc.
They didn't know what they were going to get from Dennis. They didn't know what they were going to get from Dennis.
Well, Dennis had 2 rings with Detroit. He had a great run with the Spurs. He was
getting sat down the whole time when he was with the Spurs before he went down.
They needed somebody to replace that Horace Grant role.
Yeah, no, I agree. He was a good fit for them. Yeah. But Dennis, we ended up with a Dennis Rodman that fit perfectly for them. But again, no one knew. I don't think anybody when they picked up Dennis Rodman, I don't think the concept was like, damn, that means they're going to win a championship. Like, damn, are they going to deal with him? Right. How are they going to handle him? Yeah. And they barely did. I mean, literally, they barely handled him.
But they had a great team. Mike doesn't win a championship without Pippen or Phil Jackson.
Agreed. That's a given.
Disagree.
What?
He would have won 2 at least.
No. Yeah. Without Scotty?
He didn't do it the first 6 years.
He was young.
You're crazy. You didn't need a Scotty, bro. Yeah. He said it himself, bro.
Who are you replacing Scotty with, though? You got to give me a player.
No, I don't have to give you anybody. You just said he would do it without him in his early years. Who's going to do it?
You got to replace him with somebody.
Scotty was LeBron before LeBron was LeBron. Scotty was a big guard, like a big small forward, power forward that could run the point and guard everybody.
Do you know?
Sean Kemp?
Hold on. Do you know?
Put Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp and Blake Griffin the same player.
I'm gonna put this easy. Do you know who would know Scottie Pippen more? You or Michael Jordan?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
How the hell would you know Michael?
I knew Scottie Pippen was shady from the moment
you knew his,
laid eyes on him.
You knew him. You know him better than Michael Jordan.
Sure.
All right. Because all I'm going to say is that in Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech, the first thing he said on the stage was that he thanked Scottie Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
He did it.
You can thank him.
But you always need somebody. Like, name one legend or one superstar that won a championship without any other superstars on their team.
Go ahead, John. I'll wait.
I mean,
outside of maybe that Detroit team that won that 1 year.
That's what I was
But they didn't have no stars at all.
Right.
That's what I was going to say.
And
maybe Chauncey?
They went up
against a star.
They went up
No star like
against
that. Chauncey was never a star like that.
Yeah. They went up
But
against
he's
a
their
Lakers
best player.
team that wasn't on the same page. They went up against the
Oh,
Karl
I know
Malone,
that,
Gary
yeah.
Payton,
That's
Kobe,
like saying
and Shaq.
Kobe doesn't have his first 3 championships without Shaq.
Right.
And vice versa. Period. Or Phil Jackson. You need Phil. You need all those components for
All
it to
his
work.
championships. Kobe has 0 championships without Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
And he also needed
Well, Gasol.
Lamar Odom and
Correct.
Paul Gasol.
You needed players. If Kobe would have been by himself, he would have been Iverson.
Players, but
Yeah.
Iverson's the perfect example of just this offensive one offensive player.
Well, him and Melo played together those couple years, and that didn't work
That was
out.
terrible.
That
But
was
yeah, Iverson Allen was already old or older per se.
I think it was his attitude. He was becoming uncoachable.
I think he felt betrayed when he left Philly.
Iverson had Matt Geiger.
And Dikembe Mutombo.
He had a. I don't know what team was worse, that team or LeBron's first Cavs team when they went to the finals against the Spurs and got swept.
No, it was Allen Iverson. Well,
Yeah, you had
they had
Mutombo.
no fucking chance.
You had Eric Snow. You had Mutombo. You had Aaron McKee. Oh, he's
Aaron
like
McKee,
he always looked old.
He's
He's like young looking old guy.
like 23.
Like he should be playing at
Look like
export.
40.
But he was in the
playing with me and
NBA.
Beto.
Yeah, well, he's in the NBA in the finals.
Eric
starting.
Snow always looked like he was about to
He
cry.
looked weird. He was like
he looked like a baby.
Well, I'll give you another team. I guess Sacramento would fall into that category without an actual major star. 'Cause I don't think Chris Webber was good, but Chris Webber wasn't a major star.
he was a star. He was a star.
You think he was an A-lister in the NBA?
Superstar.
Yeah.
No, he
At
was
that
not
time,
a fucking
yeah.
superstar like that. You think superstar like that?
He
Yeah.
was. He was.
Y'all on drugs,
He was
bro.
a superstar. Are you crazy?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he was that. I think he was a second-tier player.
Second to who?
Karl Malone, easy.
No, I mean,
Karl Malone,
Easy,
yeah.
bro.
oh, well, you're comparing
Easy.
them to like an
But they
all-time
played
great
okay,
power
but they
forward.
played at the same time. So automatically it is Karl Malone, Chris Webber's behind him.
God, there's a lot of good power forwards.
Yeah.
Tim
At that
Duncan
time.
was playing around that time too.
Tim,
Who's your best
David,
power forward of
Dirk.
all time?
Tim Duncan.
Easy.
He's gonna say
yeah,
Chris
I mean,
Webber.
don't even look at me.
Easy.
But
Tim Duncan.
is
Easy.
my second favorite.
Kevin Garnett. And Kevin Garnett was playing. Well, it was later in
I'll
Chris's
take
career.
Barkley over Garnett.
What?
Yeah.
Oof.
Hey.
You know what? That's
Man.
tough. That's tough.
Yeah, think
I've
about
never
it.
heard that
That's
one.
tough.
That's a good one.
That's tough. You want power and
I'll take
you want
Dirk.
power in
I'll
3-point
take-
shooting, or you want finesse in
I
2-point
wasn't
shooting?
a.
Rasheed Wallace.
He was
I
good
was-
too. There was
I liked his run
tons.
with Portland. That Portland team they scared me when they almost beat
Played
the
the
Lakers
Lakers.
in the playoffs.
They should have. They had him beat. They just.
They-
But that was,
finished.
I think Scotty cost him a couple in that because there wasn't there a game that he got kicked out because he got mad because they weren't calling shit for Shaq. I mean, they were calling too much shit for Shaq.
Yeah.
But Scotty was already old, bro.
Afro Scotty wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't great.
Man,
He was
He's old.
great after
He was
after
great.
he left the Bulls.
he was old.
Like,
None of those
So
Bulls
who
players
needed
were
who?
good after they left
Who
the
needed
Bulls.
who? I think Pippen needed Jordan.
No, Jordan sucked with the Wizards too, bro.
He was good with them.
I'm telling you,
He didn't
people
win shit.
people only focus on those 6 years of Michael Jordan's greatness. They don't focus on anything else. But
No, I'm not. Okay, mind you, I don't focus particularly on the 6. That means a lot, right? But I understand that Jordan did not play for another 2 years and then tried to come back and an older. That was a waste of time.
even his first 6 years, he wasn't an impactful player in the playoffs. Like, yeah, he was scoring titles, putting up buckets, but
I mean, Chicago
what
was
KD
Chicago
does.
was nothing at the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Chicago had like 5 fans
Bunch
in the
of
stadium,
crackheads, man.
and they were trying to keep warm.
yeah,
You know, like they used it as a homeless shelter. They say you guys can watch the game.
people. LeBron takes a lot of heat for going to Miami and building that super team, but nobody talks about when Boston did it. You know what I mean? Boston, you got Kevin Garnett, you got Ray Allen,
big three.
and Paul Pierce. They all had chances to be relevant. Paul Pierce had Antoine Walker for a little bit. They couldn't go nowhere.
Antoine Walker, I forgot he played for them.
But he had a little run where he was second best player on that team.
Yeah.
Then you had
you'll see him at V Live. Or something.
Did he get robbed around here?
V Live.
Yeah,
oh
shit.
man, he
I used
just
to go there a
aged
long time
us.
ago. Holy crap.
But Kevin Garnett had Sprewell at one point. He had Stephon Marbury. Who else? He had
in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, he had Sam Cassell as a point guard. Like he had opportunities.
Yeah.
Then you had Ray Allen. Only had what? Rashad Lewis. Did they play together for a little bit?
But here's the thing: were those players?
Ray and Rashad, yeah.
They played
Are
together,
those
right?
Are those the same?
Another decent point.
Is that the same comparison? Mm-hmm. So let's assume. Okay, let's do the big three from Boston. So you got Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen, right? Even though I guess Rondo's in there, but we'll do Ray Allen.
He developed into that.
Okay, you grab LeBron's big three, Bosh, LeBron, and Dwayne Wade. Do those names compete against each other like that?
No.
Who's the better? Who are better players?
Wade,
Bosh and Garnett cancel out. I think leaning more towards Garnett. I would say leaning more towards Garnett.
Bosh was great because he was in a small market and he had nobody in his team.
I think he was good, but I'll lean towards Garnett. I think Garnett is a better basketball player
by a lot.
So then you got LeBron and Paul Pierce.
I would cancel out Wade and Garnett.
Well, let's leave them by position. Let's just leave them by positions because they play similar positions. So let's go Paul Pierce.
Oh, you're going by position. Okay.
So let's go Paul Pierce and LeBron James.
Mismatch.
LeBron James,
100%, right? Okay. So then you got Ray Allen and Dwayne Wade. Who's better?
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade's the third best shooting guard of all time.
It's a bigger super team. That's why I think it wasn't so drastic when Boston did it, because Boston, if you put Ray Allen in it, Ray Allen was not the Ray Allen from Boston, from Milwaukee and Seattle.
He still was. He was still in his prime.
A super great shooter.
That's what he was.
He turned more into a shooter.
He wasn't the dominant player like he was in Milwaukee. When he was in Milwaukee, he was like a fucking Kobe Bryant player.
Because he had to. But
correct.
When he went to Boston, he was more of a shooter because the roles changed.
But I think that's why, to me, Boston wasn't so... They were stacked, but it wasn't as stacked as like putting D-Wade, LeBron,
so look at
Bosh.
What about their role players? So Boston had better role players than...
Agree.
Because Miami couldn't afford to pay anybody else, so they grabbed a whole bunch of veterans.
Yeah, but you also have the
Chalmers,
one of the greatest players of all time. You got two of the greatest players of all time.
But did you know,
and one of the greatest shooters of all time.
But LeBron was...
Think about this, though. Think about this real quick. Golden State has the greatest shooter of all time, maybe two, right? But then none of the legitimate players of all time. You have one. How good is Golden State then? Besides the fact that Kevin Durant played there,
because they're homegrown, like you said, they were homegrown, and
like where do you place Draymond Green in all time? Is he top 100?
He's not all time.
Is he top 125?
I think so.
All time?
I mean, he plays a role on that team. Like he's an X factor in that team. But I think it's the system too. I don't think he shines anywhere else. I
think for the mere fact, and this is not a one-to-one comparison. This will be the last person we talk about. Not a one-to-one comparison. But if you're going to include Dennis Rodman in your top 50, is he top 50 or top 75?
Top 75.
Okay, let's just say he's top 75. If you're going to include Dennis Rodman in top 75, Draymond Green has to be in your top 100, 125. Because they play similarly-ish. Now, Dennis was a better rebounder, but obviously Draymond's a better scorer.
Better passer.
So, and they play that garbage basketball type of shit.
Yeah.
So if Dennis is as impactful, that impactful, I think Draymond is equally as impactful. So if he's in the top 75, I feel like Draymond needs to be in the next class or in the top 125.
Draymond is a big part of that Golden State
Agreed.
run.
Yeah, absolutely. Without him, they don't win. Yeah. I think without him, they don't win.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know about all that.
What?
He plays
especially the first two, bro.
It depends on who you're replacing him with.
He runs the point for them for the most part. He runs their plays. He runs their set plays. Like, yeah, maybe Steph will bring up the ball, but who's creating that offense is Draymond.
Dude, that little stupid play that they run all the time where like Draymond brings it up, gives it to, Steph brings it up, gives it to Draymond right at the free throw line, and then either he passes or turns around and lays it up. That's fucking him all day.
Switch him with Joakim Noah. When Joakim was like fucking
I think they're
doing that thing with the Bulls.
They're
where he
less
was,
successful.
Like, fifth and MVP.
They'd be less successful.
No.
Because Draymond's a better scorer.
He's a better scorer.
Smarter player, too.
But
I think
the
only thing Joakim Noah does better is pass.
You think he's a better passer than Draymond?
Like
I think he's a better passer.
That year, he was like fifth in MVP voting.
I got you. But for that system, you still need to be a offensive threat at that position. And Joakim Noah is not an offensive threat. He couldn't shoot.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, Draymond has been relevant longer than Noah was.
See, the thing is,
stats.
Noah's only going to be a threat in the paint, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain, right?
Yeah.
Draymond stretches the defense.
Exactly. He's going to stretch the defense. He draws the big man out. What's Joakim Noah going to do?
Do the same thing with that fucking sidewinding shot he has.
God, I don't know who had a worse shot, him or fucking Bill Cartwright.
Man, you know what? I had a debate with somebody today. My two brother-in-laws. Four Raptor legends. I seen a meme on social media. They had Vince Carter,
Raptors. I thought you meant rappers. I'm like, my bad.
Raptors.
I'll say Eminem. Done.
Kyle Lowry, Vince Carter.
Tracy McGrady.
No,
they didn't even put him in there.
He didn't even put him in there. Buddy from the Bulls. I forgot his name. Our small forward. I forget his name.
Oh, ¿cómo se llama?
Dreads.
Mid-range.
Santa Madre.
I know his name.
Why am I forgetting his name?
Oh, shit. Why can't we none of us think of his name right now?
Leonard's on that list too. Which
he played for
he played for the
Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And San Antonio.
It was him and Kyle.
Why I forget his name?
Me cago en tu madre.
Because he's not that good.
No, he's great.
Nah,
he's good.
Then how come you don't?
He's like
name?
Jordan. He plays like Jordanish to me.
Fucking.
You know who I'm talking about.
DeMar
DeRozan. And then they had Kawhi Leonard, your top four. I disagree with that list. They say rank them from 1 to 4 Raptors legends. I don't think you include Kawhi Leonard because he played 1 year. Granted, that 1 year.
If that's the case, then Tracy McGrady has to be in that because Tracy McGrady played like 3 seasons there.
Right.
Yes, he wasn't the Tracy McGrady that we know overall, but neither was the guy we just mentioned.
Yeah. Like, so Kawhi Leonard is going to be a legend overall in the NBA, but he's not a Raptor.
The most game.
He's not a He's not a Raptor legend. Like, you don't put him over Chris Bosh.
No.
Chris Bosh didn't even make that list.
He's gone too much. Like, he's not a Spurs legend either.
Yeah. No, yeah, I would say he's a Spurs. He's probably more of a legend because he wasn't successful, but he's played there longer.
Yeah. And he won a championship there. But he played there 3-4 years.
Right, like I would say I agree with you. I think Chris Bosh is more of a legend in Toronto than he is in Miami.
Damon Stoudemire.
Or
Damon Stoudemire. How many years?
Here's the interesting one. What about Garnett? Do you think Garnett is more of a legend in Boston or in Minnesota?
No, Minnesota.
Because he was a killer in Minnesota.
Yeah, but
he just wasn't successful.
But he also spent a long time in Boston and brought a championship.
But then the same argument could be for Paul Gasol.
How long was he in Boston for? Like
5 years?
3, 4?
Well, but Paul Gasol is a Laker legend.
Right. But he was in Minnesota for like 5 years before he came there. He was good over there too.
Paul Gasol was a Grizzly.
Mark.
No, Paul did play in Minnesota.
No, he was a Grizzly.
Vancouver?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking. Never mind. Yeah. You're right. Vancouver.
Yeah.
His brother.
Yeah, he's not a Grizzly legend. He's a Laker legend. Yeah.
Kobe made him a legend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who's not a legend? Chris Webber.
Yeah. Where is he a legend in Sacramento or is he a legend?
Oh, yeah, he's a legend.
Or Golden State
or Michigan. Oh, who? Right? Wait, who you talking about?
Michigan he was Washington. No, he was Washington, right?
The Bullets.
Yeah. No, he wasn't there for long.
Him and Juwan Howard were there for
his only legendary thing is calling that timeout. That's his only legendary
His
thing.
teammates were telling him to call timeout.
He always had.
He was a good player. He was a good passer. He was a good shooter.
I think you're misunderstanding.
He was a really good passer.
He was.
He was a very good shooter.
I would say he's okay.
Good mid-range.
Good
he's like
rebounder.
LeBron. He shoots like LeBron. Does he shoot better than LeBron James?
Huh?
Does he shoot better than LeBron James?
Mid-range?
Overall.
Well, what's overall?
Everything included.
They're pretty much the same.
Well, then he's not that good of a shooter because LeBron's not a good shooter, bro. He's not a good shooter. He's not a good shooter.
He is the all-time leader in scoring, right?
By dunking half the time.
He's a better scorer than Webber, but
shooting-wise, I think they're about the same, which is not that good.
But LeBron's also a pass first player,
which is his own fault. But whatever, we won't talk about that. That's neither here nor there.
That guy was 20, 10, and 5.
We get it. Here's the thing: you know who you are. You are the people that get upset when we say LeBron James is number 2 in all time. You're that person. No one is saying that Chris Webber's fucking hot garbage. We're just saying he's not that great.
I thought he was great. I don't think he's top.
I would say he's top 100.
You don't got him in the top 50?
No. There's too many better power forwards than him, bro.
Well, just players in general.
Including new ones, there's too many that are better than him.
And he was robbed of a championship. So
sure.
I'm giving him that champion.
Okay, sure.
You said it yourself. He would have beat New Jersey.
So that means
anybody could have beat New Jersey.
So are you saying he was only great for 1 year, and that's the year he got robbed, and he couldn't win a championship before or after?
No, he could.
Did he get robbed every year he's been in the league?
No, but that year for sure, 100%.
And then he went. Didn't he go to Detroit when they were still pretty good?
The East was
played with Detroit. He played with Iverson at one point. He played with
Chauncey and Rip Hamilton. Didn't they play with them when he went to Detroit?
Yeah, he was old.
He was old.
LeBron is old.
Dang, right?
Freaking
so that old excuse doesn't work with me no more because LeBron is what year 21.
He spends like $2 million on fucking.
Oh my God! Whatever. Listen,
nutrition and all.
No one is fucking saying Chris Webber is the worst power forward of all time. No one is saying that.
Better not.
He is just not. He is just not top 100, man, 75, 50. He's just not in that category. That's all. That's all, bro. He's still good.
His glasses are getting foggy, and I'm getting nervous. I don't want that smoke.
All right, final statements. Go ahead. Say something. Anything you want.
All right, I will say this. You replace Draymond Green with Chris Webber. They win 10 in a row.
I can agree with that.
I'm okay with that.
I can agree with that.
I think Chris Webber is better than Draymond Green.
Agreed. I can agree with that.
That's all.
Okay, I can agree with that. You have some fun?
It was a good time.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it everything you thought it would be?
Yeah. It went by quick.
I know, right?
It's crazy. It was good.
It's like, this is record. 2 hours straight.
2 hours?
2 hour podcast. This is the longest one we've had ever.
This camera stopped.
Did it? No, I did it. I can see the red light. Don't scare me, bro. That's 2 hours I got to try to fix. You want to come back sometime?
Oh, of course.
All right. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind having him like third chair the whole time. You want to come be third chair? We got a guest. Hey,
good.
I'm game with that shit.
Yeah.
John, did you have a good time? It's been a while, bro. You glad to be back? You got a nice little microphone upgrade there. You're legit now.
Yeah.
You got something in common with what's the guy with Joe Rogan? You got something in common with him now.
He's got a Fisher Price too. Is it Fisher Price microphone?
Wow, damn, bro. So disrespectful. You know what? I'm gonna take it away. I gave you the good one. I gave you the Shure SM7B. You're legit, bro.
Yeah.
That is a $400 microphone that you're talking into right now. Anyway,
once you leave, I'm gonna pawn it.
Wow, that's bad. You had a good time?
Yeah.
Had a good time?
Yes, sir.
All right, I had a great time. So we're gonna sign out. And that's going to be our show for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion. And if you don't agree with it,